Comes down to having either a single income or for most married couples now, two incomes. So single buyers or renters just have a harder time for a couple reasons. First is just for the same single family home or one bedroom apartment, they have to support that on a single income instead of two incomes. There's also just kind of the risk aspect, which is if you're a married couple and one person loses their job, they at least have the second income to cover it, whereas the single buyer or renter doesn't have that luxury.
Right.
It also even matters for access to credit because when married couples apply for a mortgage, the typical lender looks at the credit profile of the higher earning person within the couple, whereas if you're single, you're just judged on your single income.
Okay.
So for all of these reasons, it is tougher for single buyers and renters.
Yeah. And Kelly, I guess there was a hint of good news. And what do you make of the fact that now that the groundbreaking for new homes and future permits construction edged up a bit higher this month? Because we do know there's terrible shortage of either new homes or new apartments.
Yeah, there really is a supply shortage. I still think it's unfortunate that many of these increases in supply are measured in percents. So yes, new housing has increased a couple of percent, but we need more like a doubling or of the amount of building that's being done instead of a small percentage increase.
But do you see that happening? I mean, even close to that. What would we need to make a significant dent?
Well, I think we need looser regulation or more thoughtful zoning. There are a lot of local politics and NIMBY
Right.
organizations standing in the way.
Fair enough. And we heard that years ago, people, their income, basically three times their income, they could spend on a new house. Now it's up to five times. Talk about that and the kind of sacrifices and compromise that people are having to make to afford a new home right now.
I think people are making sacrifices in terms of willing to do longer commutes. They're buying fixer-uppers. Maybe they're locating in areas with worse school zones or less desirable neighborhoods. Now, to some extent, a lot of single people don't have kids, so they are a bit more flexible in choosing where to live. I'm more concerned about the single people who also have children, so then they're really taking a hit when they choose to locate in an area with worse school zones or greater crime rates.
What about alternatives to buying? Are people who would like to buy, are they forced into renting right now?
Right. I think right now a lot of people are renting just because of low housing supply, so there's just not a lot of choice. Mortgage rates are still substantially higher than they were 5, 6 years ago. So that means that people may not be able to make mortgage payments. So there's just a lot of renting. But it also means that single people, maybe into their 40s, 50s, 60s, they have to consider having roommates.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what about the affordability challenges for single people reflected in broader issues in the U.S. housing market? Because it seems if the price of goods goes up with more tariffs coming in, it's only going to make a bad situation even worse.
Right. I mean, I do sympathize with a lot of potential home buyers and renters right now. Supply is also low because there's many existing homeowners, because they got locked into a mortgage several years ago at lower interest rates, they're unwilling to sell. So you have a lot of people parking in their homes, not selling, combined with supply constraints due to zoning and regulation. There's also a general trend now toward a lot of companies now buying up real estate. They
Right.
are making that available through rentals, but I think it remains controversial whether that is actually increasing supply or increasing prices.
Here's something I read while doing some research for this story. As we get older as a nation, we're going to need more care, more elder care, memory care, and centers to help baby boomers, to house those baby boomers, just aren't there. Is this a crisis waiting to happen? Is it something we should be concerned about?
There's certainly a potential housing crisis for the elderly and just a general care crisis, also from, I believe, the distribution of ages so that we need younger people to take care of the elderly. Um, and a general fertility crisis. It's all tied together. There's, in fact, research now showing that the lack of housing availability is leading to lower fertility rates.